Patrick Swayze, the dancer who became an action hero, the romantic lead who redefined masculinity, starred in some of the most iconic films of the 1980s and 1990s. At 57, he faced his greatest battle. Not on a movie set, not in a dance studio. In a hospital room. January 2008. A devastating diagnosis that would give him just 20 months to live. Pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. One of the deadliest cancers known to medicine. The shocking truth. While Hollywood watched, while fans around the world prayed, Patrick Swayze fought with the same fierce determination that made him a star. He danced with Jennifer Grey in Dirty Dancing. He made pottery immortal in Ghost. He kicked ass in Roadhouse. But his final performance, fighting cancer while cameras rolled, refusing to quit, dancing one last time, would be his most heartbreaking and heroic role. Behind that legendary toughness lies a story not glamorous, but brutal. A story of a man who refused to die quietly, who worked until he physically couldn't, who loved one woman for 34 years and said goodbye knowing he'd fought with everything he had. If Patrick Swayze has ever made you believe in passionate love, hit like as tribute to his courage. This is the story of a man diagnosed with terminal cancer at 55, told he had months to live, who fought for 20 months more, not in hiding, but in front of the world, working, dancing, living until his last breath. What you're about to hear will break your heart and inspire your soul. August 18, 1952, Houston, Texas. Patrick Wayne Swayze was born into a family where perfection was expected and weakness was not tolerated. His mother, Patsy Swayze, was a legendary dance instructor and choreographer, demanding, relentless, brilliant. She pushed Patrick harder than any of her other students, not out of cruelty, out of belief. She saw something in him, talent, potential, star quality, but the pressure was brutal. Patrick trained in ballet, jazz, and gymnastics from age 5, while other boys played football. He wore tights and danced. The kids at school mocked him, called him names, questioned his masculinity. He learned to fight. Had to. His father, Jesse Wayne Swayze, was a chemical plant engineer, tough, stoic, the kind of man who believed boys should be boys. The contrast between his parents created tension Patrick carried his whole life. Was he a dancer or a fighter? Sensitive or strong? The answer, both. Always both. At 18, Patrick moved to New York City to study dance, joined the Joffrey Ballet and later the Elliott Feld Ballet Company. He was good, professional level, but at 20, a knee injury ended his ballet career. Devastating. His mother's dreams, his own dreams, shattered. Patrick could have quit, gone back to Texas, gotten a normal job. Instead, he pivoted to acting. He moved to Los Angeles in 1978, took small roles, struggled, waited tables, auditioned endlessly. Years of rejection, years of almost. The beginning was not glamorous, but marked by persistence. 1983, The Outsiders. Director Francis Ford Coppola cast Patrick as Daryl Curtis in the adaptation of S.E. Hinton's novel. Patrick was 30, finally getting noticed. The same year, Uncommon Valor alongside Gene Hackman. He was building momentum, slowly. Then came 1985, North and South, the television miniseries. Patrick played Ori Main, a Southern gentleman, a romantic lead. Women noticed. America noticed. 1987 changed everything. Dirty Dancing, made for just $6 million. The film became a cultural phenomenon. Patrick was 34, playing dance instructor Johnny Castle opposite Jennifer Grey's baby houseman at Kellerman's Resort in the Catskill Mountains. The chemistry was electric. The dancing was passionate. The story was simple but perfect. Nobody puts baby in a corner. That line, that lift, that final dance. Dirty Dancing earned $114 million worldwide. The soundtrack sold over 32 million copies. Patrick became a global sex symbol overnight. But he was different from other action stars. He could dance. He was sensitive, romantic, tough but tender. 1989, Roadhouse. Patrick as Dalton, a philosophical bouncer cleaning up a corrupt small town. The film earned $30 million domestically. Became a cult classic. He did his own stunts, trained in martial arts, built his body into peak condition. Then came 1990. Ghost. Patrick as Samwheat, a murdered banker trying to protect his girlfriend Molly, played by Demi Moore, from Beyond the Grave, The Pottery Scene. Whoopi Goldberg as Oda Mae Brown, Unchained Melody playing softly. Ghost was made for $22 million. It earned $505 million worldwide. Patrick was nominated for a Golden Globe. The film won Whoopi Goldberg an Academy Award. At 37, Patrick Swayze was at the absolute peak of his career. He earned approximately $5 million per film by the early 1990s. His marriage to Lisa Nemi, whom he'd met when she was 14, and he was 18 at his mother's dance studio, remained solid. They married in 1975. She was his partner, his anchor, his everything. The world saw a perfect life, success, love, health, talent. But tragedy was already circling. June 1, 2000, Prescott, Arizona. Patrick was piloting his twin-engine Cessna 414A when he encountered a sudden loss of pressure. The plane began losing altitude rapidly. He was at 13,000 feet, plummeting. Most pilots would have panicked. Most would have died. Patrick kept his composure, made an emergency landing on a Los Angeles street. He walked away with minor injuries, but the incident shook him, reminded him of mortality. His father, Jesse, had died in 1982 at just 57 from a heart attack. The same age Patrick would face his own death sentence. Through the 2000s, Patrick's career cooled. The roles became smaller, the offers fewer. He struggled with alcohol, the pressure, the fading stardom. Lisa stood by him, always. He got sober, focused on smaller projects. Television work, 2004, George and the Dragon, a low-budget fantasy film. 2007, he was cast in The Beast, an A&E television series playing an undercover FBI agent. At 55, Patrick was attempting a comeback. Then came late 2007. He began experiencing severe stomach pain, digestive issues, weight loss. December 2007, doctors in Los Angeles ran tests. January 2008, the diagnosis: pancreatic cancer, stage 4, the 5-year survival rate, less than 5%, the average survival time, 3 to 6 months. Patrick was 55 years old. The devastating truth: this was a death sentence. His doctor, Dr. George Fisher at Stanford University Medical Center, told him honestly, "This is very serious. You need to get your affairs in order." Patrick refused to accept it. "I'm going to fight this," he told Lisa. "I'm going to beat it." He began aggressive chemotherapy, experimental treatments. The side effects were brutal: nausea, exhaustion, hair loss, constant pain. But Patrick refused to stop working. March 2008, he gave an interview to Barbara Walters, gaunt, clearly sick, but defiant. "I'd say 5 to 7 years, he said about his prognosis. Despite what doctors privately told him, the world watched in heartbreaking real time as a legend fought for his life. He returned to filming The Beast in Chicago while undergoing chemotherapy. Between takes, he would vomit, shake from pain, could barely stand, but he showed up. "Every day, I'm not going to let this beat me," he told the crew. The show aired in 2009. Patrick was visibly deteriorating episode by episode. Viewers watched a man dying on screen, working through terminal cancer because quitting wasn't in his nature. Lisa was with him constantly, became his nurse, his advocate, his reason to keep fighting. June 2009, Patrick made a public appearance at a cancer benefit. He was skeletal, could barely walk, but he was there. "I'm going through hell," he admitted, "but I'm not going to let it get me. I'm going to enjoy every moment I have left." The treatments weren't working. The cancer was spreading, but Patrick kept fighting. In his final months, he worked on his memoir with Lisa, The Time of My Life. He wanted to tell his story on his terms. September 14, 2009, Los Angeles, California. Patrick Swayze died at his home with Lisa by his side. He was 57 years old, the same age his father died. He'd fought for 20 months after diagnosis, longer than doctors predicted, longer than statistics suggested. Because Patrick Swayze didn't quit. ever. Patrick is gone, but his legacy remains fierce and undiminished. Lisa Nemi Swayze, now 68, eventually remarried in 2014 to jeweler Albert DePrisco. But she speaks of Patrick with enduring love. "He was my soulmate," she said repeatedly. That doesn't end with death. She's become an advocate for pancreatic cancer research, works with the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. Patrick's estate was valued at approximately $40 million at his death. Dirty Dancing remains a cultural touchstone. Remakes, stage adaptations, constant television airings. Ghost endures as one of the great romantic films. Roadhouse is quoted endlessly, beloved. But what people remember most isn't the movies. It's the fight. Patrick Swayze showed the world how to die. Not with resignation, not in hiding. With courage, with work, with love. He danced until he couldn't, acted until his body failed, loved Lisa until his last breath. The Patrick Swayze Pancreatic Cancer Research Program at Stanford University continues his fight. Every year, thousands are diagnosed with the same cancer that killed him. And they remember, Patrick Swayze fought for 20 months when he was given 6. He didn't win. Cancer is brutally indifferent to courage, but he didn't surrender either. At 57, Patrick Swayze proved that courage isn't about winning, it's about how you fight. From Houston to Hollywood, from dance studios to deathbeds, from Dirty Dancing to his final dance with mortality, Patrick lived passionately, loved completely, died fighting. He taught us that masculinity can include tenderness, that dancers can be warriors, that dying doesn't mean giving up. If this story touched your heart, leave a tribute below. Share a moment when Patrick Swayze's fierce spirit reminded you that life isn't measured in years. It's measured in courage, in love, in refusing to quit even when the odds are impossible. Patrick Swayze had 20 months. He made them count. That's not tragedy. That's triumph. And his final dance, the one with death itself, remains his most inspiring performance. "Time is precious," he said in his final interview. "Don't waste it." He never did.